What's going on, gang? Billy here from Storm Trades to do another trade recap. Let me bring you through my process of establishing a daily bias, how I read the high time frame market structure narrative, and ultimately how I found a winning long trade on NQ for Monday, June 9th AM trading session. All right, let's start on the daily. You know how we do. I like to mark off the previous daily low and the previous daily high. I want to fib from the previous daily candle just to sort of take a look at where we are. And where we are is we're currently significantly higher than the midpoint of the previous daily candle. So we're playing around in the upper quadrant, and it's just something to take note of, right? Next thing I want to do is mark any external or internal range liquidity that we're currently delivering from. And we are currently delivering from a swing high, a daily swing high, right? So we short from daily swing highs, and we short from daily bearish fair value gaps. So we have just recently swept that, and we weren't closing above it, right? We came back down into the range. So immediately, I'm just looking for lower prices on the daily. Okay, I don't need lower prices, but I am bearish on the daily. And what's going to happen here again today is we're going to have a trade that goes in the opposite direction of our daily bias. That is fine. Okay, I used to think it wasn't fine. I'm not trading on the daily time frame. Okay, I'm trading. I'm analyzing on the hourly time frame, and I'm executing on the 5-minute time frame. If the hourly is clear to me that it's going in the opposite direction and we have a change in the state of delivery and it's clear, then I'm looking for trades in that direction. I want to be on the side of order flow. Okay. Now, it's good for me to understand what's going on in the daily, and ultimately I would love if the daily and the hourly were aligned. Okay. That just helps my confidence when entering a trade. I don't need it, and neither do you. But anyway, so once I've established the daily bias, I want to move to the hourly. Let me pull up the hourly chart here. Okay, and very similar to how I'm looking at the daily time frame. I want to see clear changes in state of delivery and the most recent price action. Okay, so immediately, okay, I can see that these series of down close candles, all right, that came down and took this liquidity. All right, it took the previous daily low right here. Okay. So the day before the previous day. Okay. So 2 days, we've swept that down here, and we have now displaced back through the series of down close candles, creating a change in the state of delivery. All right. I'm just gonna. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to pull this previous daily level over. Okay, because that's going to be a draw on liquidity for me. And so I have a change in the state of delivery here, and that's confirmed by the presence of this hourly bullish fair value gap. Okay, so yes, my daily bias was bearish, but to me, clearly, if I want to get on sides with the hourly market structure order flow, I'm going to be looking for higher prices. Now, I need to mark out the closest hourly POI that we could trade into, right? So I've got this hourly bullish fair value gap that we've traded in, but we haven't even touched the midpoint of it. And at this point, we have this hourly swing low. Either of those are fine for me to sweep or tap into, for me to seek an entry on the M5 time frame. Okay, so once we've established all this, is our game plan. All right. Now, every day, part of my game plan is establishing an invalidation level. Okay, so and I mark this every day inside of Unicorn University on my personal thread, and I will state what's my invalidation. So my invalidation on this particular day was a close through this bullish hourly fair value gap, inverting it. I would then expect price to move lower, and that would make sense to me as my daily bias was bearish. Okay, so this is an if-then statement I'm working with for my analysis. Okay, if we get supported here at the bullish fair value gap, or if we just simply sweep this hourly swing low, I would expect price to move higher targeting the previous daily high. All right, so let's move down to the M5. And at this point, I am needing an hourly level to get swept into. So the two levels that we're looking for is this hourly bullish fair value gap and this hourly swing low. So let's move price forward and wait for a sweep. And at this time, we finally get a sweep that meets our criteria to start following price and looking for an entry. Okay, at this point, I will mark out the series of down close candles that took this liquidity. Okay, if we get above that, that would be our change in the state of delivery. I also want to mark out, we have a M5 fair value gap here. If we close above that on our way to closing through the change in the state of delivery, that's also a confirmation that price wants to move higher. Okay, you could just make a trade off that. That's what Dodgy does. There's plenty of people. EMC, a lot of people in the Discord do this on the M2 timeframe. I enter on IFVGs all the time, right? And there's also a potential breaker up here, the highest up close candle prior to the series of candles that took liquidity, right? So I'm marking all of this out. Ideally, I'd want to see all three traded through with displacement, and I would feel confident that I could get on sides for the trade up to the previous daily high. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. That's my draw on liquidity. So let's play price through here, and I'm watching for. Right, so immediately we've almost closed all the way through the M5 fair value gap. So it's starting to make sense that we may want to go higher here. And let me play price through a little bit more. We have now closed through the IFVG, and we're in the middle of the breaker. We have not closed over the change in the state of delivery order block yet, and that's what I was requiring on this particular day, especially trading NQ. NQ can move back and forth at any given time, so I like to see as many PD arrays backing up my trade as possible. Okay, with NQ and with the indices. All right, on the very next candle, we now have closed above the breaker, created a unicorn as there's a fair value gap right here. Okay, so whenever there's a fair value gap inside of a breaker, after sweeping liquidity, that is considered a unicorn. At this point, I entered a long, seeking previous daily high right up there. Okay, so let me put in that contract here. Stop below the, so I have a bunch of PD arrays here, right? I don't need to go down to the swing low. Once I have 3 PD arrays, and this is in my opinion, once I have over two PD arrays backing up my trade idea, I don't need to go all the way down to the swing. I would like to go to the swing most of the time if we're close enough to it. But in this particular case, I felt we were below the change in the state of delivery, we were below the breaker, and we were below the inversion fair value gap. So my stop is there. We were seeking about 1.94 R if it gets right to the previous daily high. I am not one of the traders that requires exactly 2R or bust. I am looking for relevant liquidity because I want to make sure I get a profit. So I'm always looking for draws on liquidity that make total sense. Okay, for me, I always have to ask that: does this make total sense? Okay, the previous daily high certainly does, especially now that we've gotten through these PD arrays, created them with such displacement. So I'm going to take profit here at the previous daily high. Now, what you'll notice here is we actually do have some drawdown, and it got close. Okay, but the PD arrays held, and we delivered nicely to take profit for a 1.94 R trade. We didn't go with the daily bias, but we understood what was going on the daily chart. Okay, we clearly saw order flow was bullish on the hourly time frame. We waited for a sweep and displacement, which created, in fact, 3 PD arrays that we traded off of, and we had a great draw on liquidity in the previous daily high. if you guys got anything out of this, I really appreciate you listening, and just understand that I'm doing this primarily selfishly. I'm doing it for me, because once I started to do this, in addition to my journaling, my trading has just gone. It's gotten infinitely better, right? And the way that I'm viewing the market and understanding how I want to trade my model, and this really helps solidify the good things that I'm doing, and also the opportunities when we take a loss. So anyway, please subscribe and like the video if you want. You guys have a good one. See ya.